All right. Hello, and welcome to my drawing journal for January 2023. My name is Freddy. Sometimes I go by Albuquerque or Nicodemus in games, but for today, I am Freddy. So, what's this series all about? I think anyone who's ever been creative for a hobby and either wanted to become a professional or simply just wanted to get better at it knows what it's like to get lost with life. Becoming busy for whatever reason takes up a lot of time and it slowly adds up. Before you know it, you haven't done anything creative and you feel like you've stagnated as an artist. Like, if this is you, just know that you still have it in you. It is of my opinion that even though we sometimes end up taking prolonged breaks, we're still taking in information of what we're good at. As for me, I love creating worlds. I think I've always enjoyed doing that. In high school, I wrote a 56-page script on the lives of regular school kids figuring out life. It wasn't very good, but something doesn't have to be its best on the first go. And that's what this series is all about. Revisiting what inspired me before, mixed in with what inspires me today, and incorporating the experiences I've had since then. In the process, I hope to push myself to do better. I've challenged myself to do a drawing a week for this year. I was originally going to do a drawing a day, but my workflow isn't that efficient yet. I've found myself so far drawing towards the end of the week instead of the early parts of it. But I would like to do multiples per week once I find my flow again. My inspirations for the month of January has definitely been Mika Picazo. They use very bold colors, bold streaks, raw strokes, a lot of patterns, halftones that I always been a fan of and definitely want to incorporate in my own works. So, I want to start off by showing what I previously did before I started this project. And my first one was Asmodee 2022. I've always liked her as a character. She's been an interesting character to draw. She's supposed to be like part demon, but she's human, but she's also has the embodiment of a killing spirit that she was bound to. She used to be a character that was very proficient with all kinds of deadly tools, but I think I eventually just kind of toned her down. She's basically a mix of a schoolgirl bound to a killing spirit. So she's always going to have these crazy looks on her. Her face kind of says it all. She looks like she's going to kill you, and she definitely probably will. Next one is Christmas Smile. This character's name is Sayako. She's one of my oldest characters that I enjoyed redrawing again because I feel like I never really paid too much attention to her in the past. I wanted to do something for Christmas, so I put her standing in the plaza as it started to snow. Lots of uses, bold colors, but I wanted to keep her as the focus. Dress is mostly designed as fashionable instead of traditional Christmas dresses. It's mostly just supposed to show that who she is, and she's always been the type of person who's lived the high life. Next up is New Year's drink. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too happy with this one. I definitely rushed it, and that was mostly because I did this last minute. Plans didn't line up with this drawing, and you can tell I rushed it because I never corrected her mouth, which still has the lines of the old mouth, but I painted the new mouth under it. Again, not my proudest, but it was something. Week 1, Red Sorceress Through the Sky. This is Red Sorceress. That's her name, because I never named her despite her being one of my oldest characters. When I originally drew her in my school's library, she was called Spider Tamer. She used to control spiders for some reason. I developed her around her outfit. Her outfit is one of those that I was proud of for designing. I think what's challenging is updating old outfits you probably made on a whim when you first drew an original character. And you'll see what I mean when I start talking about week three's drawing. Keeping with the Picasso influence, you see very bold use of colors surrounding her as she falls into the sky, splashing into the colors. I think a lot of it was just kind of representing that she as a character, she's getting lost with who she is and she's trying to grasp to anything. And in her story, it's more or less that like she doesn't know what's going to happen next, but she just needs to desperately cling on to something. Week 2 is Kaylee waving. Kaylee's story is that she used to be a very reckless girl growing up, gained a nasty reputation of being a bully, tomboyish qualities, and she's strong, but she doesn't know what it means to be softer, but she's always wanted to be. I guess you can think of it more of a bit tsunderish. And now that I think about it, it sounds like the women I'm usually attracted to. Like tough exterior, soft when you finally get to know them, that sort of thing. Kaylee is also the oldest character I've made and has gone through so many different iterations. She's gone from being a blonde girl with a backwards hat to having dirty blonde hair to being a ginger with orange hair, and then finally I kind of stayed on her having red hair. But yeah, believe me when I say that she's gone through many iterations, so many that I used to draw her in the same pose, same color scheme once every year to track my original drawing progress. Thinking about it, I may do a 2023 version. You can see I pulled up one of Picasso's works in the time lapse. I used it to pull a skin palette for this drawing. I also used a model to hurry the process of making a background, and I'll get into using pre-mades in a bit. Week 3, Rose stretching. I don't have much to say about Rose, the character, only that she's supposed to be incredibly proficient using an axe. This drawing is a recreation of an older work of mine. With what I said about updating older outfits in week 1 heavily applies here. Rose's outfit is one of those outfits I created because I needed something to cover my character up, but didn't know how to design something cute and frilly at the same time. Her original outfit on the right was the result, and on the left, you see me attempt to make sense of it again. I think what I want to try to do going forward is not to do one to one copies. It's hard to not fall back and make it easier to just draw what was already made. Recreating or redesigning an outfit that makes sense for now is not an easy thing, but I definitely want to go back to redesigning and designing outfits in general. I feel like I did a lot of that before, but I guess I stopped trying after a while. For the background, I went ahead and used a grass brush with a cloud brush to recreate the old background I made for the original. As I said earlier, I did want to touch on using pre-made assets. And what I have to say is it doesn't make you less of an artist if you're using pre-made assets. I don't think using pre-made assets diminishes your work. A lot of times it can be used to enhance your work. I do believe that people still learn using pre-made things. You are still learning as you go, and I think as long as you're not fully relying on these at all times and you're still learning from what you're wanting to make, it's still a very valuable tool to have. These assets were created for other artists to use, and this is coming from me being someone who's been incredibly stubborn over the years to even begin using tools and pre-made things because I felt like I needed to do them myself or else I'm not a good artist. I'm the type that has a hard time accepting any kind of help. This drawing didn't really have a whole lot of Picasso influence, mostly because I was mostly focusing on wanting to recreate the original. I think it turned out very nicely. Um, I think it turned out very nicely. If I had more time, I probably would have added a little bit more. Week 4, Suit Witch. I didn't set the time lapse to this drawing when I started. Truthfully, the concept of this drawing had been sketched out for a while already, and I got around to finishing it during this week. I love witches. You can be incredibly versatile drawing witches of all types. Different hats, different styles, different hairstyles under the hat. Her original character design was alright, but I decided to mix in a court jester theme into her outfit with a witch's hat. The coloring is heavily inspired by Picasso, not much use of actual patterns, but some use of halftones instead. I decided early on she would be holding on to a card. It was originally going to be a standard playing card, but tarot cards to me have always been really interesting. I took old drawings of mine to be used as the illustrations for the cards. When I was making the cards, I thought about wanting to make a real card set with better illustrations. I think that's something that's always called my attention. One of the things that I've learned about using a Picasso style is that it feels like you're taking a chance. If you've done a lot of coloring where you're focused on things looking the way they're supposed to look like I have, you don't always see outside the box and think about what's possible. I've always been a fan of using bold colors, but I never really thought about incorporating different colors that are not typically supposed to be there. So far, the Picasso style is something that I've really enjoyed, and I wish to shape the style into my own and not just having a one-to-one copy of the Picasso style. My next project is going to be Taroko Descends, which I'm currently working on. I was going to include it in this video, but I also wanted to get this video out for the month of January. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I plan on doing a video once a month. I was originally going to do one a week per drawing, and I may still do that. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of sketches that I have to go through, and I am wanting to put it all out there, and you'll hopefully see that as I go. Thanks for watching.